All right, everybody, you're in for a special treat tonight because you're about to find out why an engineer is a little bit like a pig. You see, a pig, when you wrestle with it, you get nice and dirty, you get tired, and then you find out the pig likes it. And engineers are just like pigs in that respect, but we don't wrestle physically, necessarily. We like to argue, and we like to tear things apart, and we like to wrestle mentally. You will be tired by the time I'm done with you, trust me, especially if you're disrespectful. Now, most of the time, when someone sends me a science paper like their Vosh and says, well, look at the data, just extrapolate, I'm like, all right, I click on their paper, I take a look at it, okay, oh, this is a bad paper. I'm just gonna leave it. All right, I'm just gonna leave it. But this guy kept pushing my buttons, and I will show you what this guy looks like in a minute so you can tear him apart too. But he sends me these papers, and he's like, look, just extrapolate from the data and find out for yourself. All right, these papers are crap. These papers are crap. When you have good scientific data, you don't have the definitive answer in 1982 and like 1998 or whatever these papers. Yeah, I believe this one is 1982. Yeah, I wasn't even born yet. Is the science settled? We still have astronomers going out and looking at the stars. Are the stars settled? No, the stars are, we know a lot about stars. We still study them though. If we know a lot about nitrogen fixing, we should be still studying it. Second off, the thing that he sent me was from some sustainable future initiative in France. I don't give a crap about that. That's like going to like some socialist newspaper and asking them for a paper on how socialism is great. Of course they're gonna say it's great. But when I tear into the data and actually take one little look at it from face value, I see that it's total crap. So we're gonna go split screen and we're gonna tear this thing up together. Let's do it. I'm in such a bad mood. I'm in a good bad mood. It's weird. Engineers get into weird moods where we're like happy to be going into battle and just tear something apart. Agronomists readily agree. All right, we got ourselves an adverb, right? They readily agree. They don't just normally agree, they readily agree. Also, who are agronomists? Okay, agree that legumes with their ability to reduce atmospheric nitrogen to a usable form of nitrogen, usable for themselves, should be, and it should be. We agree it should be. I agree it should. Oh, me and 5 other mechanics agreed that a car should start. That doesn't make you feel good, does it? All right, be an important component in tropical agrosystems. Okay, so we're already limited to the tropics, okay? We're already limited to the tropics. So that's my first, you might as well give me a study about like it happening on the moon or on Mars. Okay, maybe in concept it'll work out, but here not so much. Okay. Have outstanding potential for fixing N2. Why is it all these potential? Why is it should? Why is it potential? It should be our team has found that you have like so many nitrogen, kilograms of nitrogen per hectare, right? Many of them fail to achieve their potential in the field. Okay, that's interesting. So they're already saying something's failed to achieve its potential in the field. Thus, when a biological or environmental condition is not favorable, what is favorable? What does that mean? Does it mean not tropical? What is favorable for a legume? Like, what do you mean by can you quantify favorable? Whatever. N2, fixing activity of Leucaena, Leucofa, I can never do these. Leucocephala, whatever. Leucocephala. It sounds like a dance club in Miami where you don't tell your mates about what happened. As low as 13% found in a more favorable environment. Okay, than in a more favorable environment. So we can go down, okay, gotta, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I took one little quick look at this. I found location in Senegal, India, so totally different climate. Also, let me change this over to continuous scroll mode. 1982, all right. What they don't tell you is that, that's junk publishers. I didn't notice that before, that's just kind of funny. Well, whatever. Anyways, it's some sustainable future initiative based in France. That's where this paper came from. So in 1982, some sustainable ag people in France decided to go out and do this study. So yeah, it's kind of like listening to the socialists about economic theory. I don't trust them, and I don't care. So here we go. So I said, all right, I went through this paper and I took a look through it, and it's like a lot of suches and a lot of shoulds and whatnot. I wanted to see a control, and you could spend a lot of time going through their methodology, but I find that's like, it's like picking out the flavor in sushi that's covered in flies. It's like there's flies on it. So let's take a look at the flies on it. So this guy sent me this as evidence that you can use nitrogen fixers in soil. So I just said, okay, let's just assume that this paper is totally right and on the level, because I don't have to like evaluate the whole freaking thing to know if it's a bad idea. This is the superpower that engineers have. Yeah. All right. So here's the place that made this. Science engaged, French public research institution. Yeah, our public research institutions have really been coming through for us this last year. It's been fantastic. I'm sure the whoever believes in this place also believes that the WHO has the WHO has perfect data on everything. All right. already defends an original model of equitable. Oh my, yes. Oh yeah, equitable scientific partnerships with the countries of the South and wow, this is translated. So they probably just mean, I don't know, maybe south of the equator. I'm gonna give them a break on that. Interdisciplinary and citizen science, the best kind of science, the most reputable, committed to the achievement of sustainable development goals. So one of the things I'm gonna do on this channel is I'm gonna also test ag, but the actual tests I run don't mean diddly dick, okay? It doesn't mean anything. The tests I run don't mean anything. So what does mean something on what I do as the farm engineer? When I give you a process or a procedure, that's what means something, because then you can go test it yourself. I don't want you to believe me. You can skip all my results. Who cares what I found on my farm and my microclimate with my stuff that I picked? You go do it on your farm. I'm just gonna make procedures for how I got what I got. And then you go use it on your farm. And if it works for you, if you're like, oh, this clover's great, great. If the clover's not great, not great. You know what is a little bit different? You ever considered this? Mr. Idiot who sent me this on Twitter is like, hey, look at this, Senegal. Okay, in the atmosphere, there are chains of processes. You can have areas of the atmosphere that produce completely different atmospheric constituents based on trace elements, right? Trace elements. So little tiny things can have big changes. This is how ozone gets produced in the atmosphere. It has to go through a chain of different chemicals. One of them is hydroxyl. I helped work on a rocket that went and studied the hydroxyl in the atmosphere. That's OH negative, right? It's a little constituent, OH negative. Nobody talks about OH negative in the atmosphere, but it's vital for fixing the ozone layer. It's vital for our atmospheric constituents that are good for us. So little things make a big difference. You could have massive drops in nitrogen. This paper admits to 13%. I don't know what that changes to based on sunlight, okay? How many 8 days of sunlight? What time of the season you get that sunlight? What's the temperature in that season? What's the frost point? What's the dew point? What are all these things? Because this is in the tropics. Wet season, dry season, hot season, other hot season, okay? There's wet, hot, and hot, okay? There's wet, hot, and dry, hot, okay? Those are totally different than our climate zone. So this means nothing. It means diddly dick about our own climate. Who cares about this frickin' paper by this equitable scientific partnership with citizen science committed to the achievement of sustainable development goals? Who wrote this? Greta Thunberg? Are you turning to these globalists to tell you how to run your sovereign farm? Oh, I'm a permaculturist. I believe in sustainability and carbon footprints and equitable development and citizen science committed to the achievement of sustainable development. You're a freaking NPC for globalists. Stop telling everybody that you know what you're doing. You're a liar. You're a liar because you're an idiot and you believe this crap. And you go and ship everyone else on it. And, I'm sick of tired of believing just stuff at face value. I'm tired of going after all these other goals when we should be going for the goal of feeding our families. You guys are about to find out the hard way that losing focus on what you should be doing has consequences. This effing around, here I'm gonna show you, this effing around with this stuff means nothing. All right, so here's what I found out. Let's assume this paper's right. Let's assume this paper's great. 165 N2 rate for this soybean, okay? It's not the most on there. There's another one here. We'll do this one too, okay? We'll do this one too. But look at this, 165. What is 165 kilograms per hectare per year? What they mean is per crop, right? So when it has a negative one at the top, that just means it's in the denominator. So it's kilograms and then hectares goes below. So it's kilograms per hectare. Makes sense, right? Mass over an area. I plug in kilograms per hectare into this calculator, and I verified this calculator independently, so this calculator is a convenient thing. This is 0.00338, if I use that much precision, pounds per square foot. That is 1/20th of an ounce. This person out here is saying, oh, you should believe in this because of this scientific paper, which he didn't read, which was published before I was born by 6 years, and was made by the Sustainable Development Goal globalist crap with Charles Schwab and everybody else laughing at you, publishing this garbage with citizen science for equitable interdisciplinary goals for sustainable development and other bull crap. You guys are falling for the same stuff. Stop falling for this stuff. 1/20th of an ounce. You're gonna be out there, it's the equivalent of going out there like Salt Bae with a pinch of nitrogen fertilizer and throwing it on 1 square foot. Is that a lot? Is that enough? Does that sound good to you? This person's got a bunch of fancy scientific papers, and they got a bunch of fancy numbers, and they blind you with bullshit and baffle you so they can bend you over the barrel. All right, 542 per year. What does that do? Oh, 542 is so much bigger. It's gonna be like 3/20ths of an ounce instead. 42? I forget. Dang, all right. 542. So it's that much. 0.00 pounds per square foot. So let's take a look at that. Come on. Let's go. TEDx Nashville. Let's take a look at you. Let's take a look at you. This many pounds to ounces. What does that do? So 0.18 ounces per square foot equivalent of putting nitrogen fertilizer on. These people are trying to tell you that you don't need to buy fertilizer right now when fertilizer is running out. They're trying to tell you to, oh, don't worry, grow beans. Go grow the trees. Grow this other, it's nitrogen fixers. It's good, nitrogen, good. Oh, good, yeah. Don't worry, don't buy the fertilizer. Don't buy fertilizer. Don't worry about, you wouldn't want to abuse the earth, would you? You wouldn't want to abuse the earth, would you? They're abusing you. These guys are trying to like gaslight you into not buying fertilizer. Are you freaking out of are you out of your mind? Buy fertilizer, feed your family, and quit letting these bullshitters into your ears. Wake up already. This is pathetic. This is another Joel Osteen style bullcrap with Joel Salatin and his permaculture people. Non-quantifiable, non-accountable, and trying to get you into a point where you're complacent. You think you're self-sufficient. No one else in the world does this to live unless they are dirt poor. They don't even do this in Asia. You know the only places they do this in? Places they can't get fertilizer, which is where you're going to be living in very soon. Damn fools. I swear to goodness. You better get your minds right. You're getting sold on some prosperity gospel because you know what they're going to do when your crop fails? They're going to say, well, you should have done it more. And did you try this one? Did you try the acacia? Did you try that? Did you try this? And they're not going to have any answers for you. They're just going to have things for you to try. You know, if you had a plumbing issue and there's just crap pouring out of your walls, do you want to hear the plumber tell you what you should try next? Or are you going to say they should fix it? This is nitrogen. This isn't nitrogen fix. This is nitrogen broken. This is nitrogen broken. Y'all are ridiculous. Out there like Salt Bae in your fields. I mean, I swear to goodness, 1/20th or 0.1. This is 1/16th, I think, right? No, it's 1/6. That's 1/6. 1/6 of an ounce. 1/6 of an ounce of fertilizer per square foot. You out of your mind. You out of your mind. Y'all ridiculous. Y'all are ridiculous. All right, and that's why I've done told you what I done told you. Go buy your fertilizer. Don't get bullied by a bunch of washed up hippies into not buying fertilizer and not feeding your family and not getting stuff working. You know why? I get advised by actual farmers on what to do. Small farmers. A lot of these farmers are retired guys that have their own house. They have their own little homesteads over here in Tennessee in the middle of the backwoods. They're doing great. You know what they tell me to do? They say, use 7, the pesticide, and use fertilizer. It's not that freaking hard. Use fertilizer. The only places that don't use fertilizer are the ones that can't afford it, which is where you're going to be if you don't shape up and cut the crap. This has been the FarmGineer. A stirring message. Sometimes you need a little kick in the butt. Hope you enjoyed watching me tear these people apart. 1/20th of an ounce. 1/6 of an ounce. Oh, please. All right, guys. I hope you guys keep your head on a swivel and you keep growing.